Right, good morning, everyone, and apologies again for more technical issues. The joys, as always, of living in paradise. We have to make some compromises. Okay, so um, jumping straight into it. First of all, those of you who are on this call with me, please do feel free to use the chat box to post any questions. I'll just make sure that that's up. I can see it. Good. There we go. And if there's any particular instruments you want me to cover, we should be done in about half an hour. That's the aim in any case. But as always, starting off with the Euro USD. Now, one of the questions that has been popping up recently, since last week, of course, is around more detail on the overlay strategy. So, as we've had quite a lot of ranging markets, we also had a couple of reversals in the last month or so across numerous markets. It's quite important to just understand the principle behind the overlay strategy. And of course, I will be getting into this in the training for you guys. That will be in the academy itself. Be aware that we're just testing and have been testing for a while now, a few variations on the overlay. So you can see in my diagrams and so on, the drawings and the charts, some of that. So you'll probably be able to pick up on it pretty easily. Really, it's just about trading off the boundaries of our potential range or actual range. And in particular, taking a trade when we've had a false breakout. So that's really it. They're not ambitious trades in terms of targets. That we still manage downside aggressively though. And as always, as you know, these strategies aren't necessarily designed to be profitable. They can be, but there's a cost to that as well. The main focus behind an overlay strategy is really just to reduce drawdown during the periods when the core strategies are losing. That's really it. So if you stay focused on that, then you'll be less frustrated and you will understand very quickly the purpose behind these. Okay, so on Euro USD, starting at the top, as always, we are still in a bullish trend on weekly. And of course, last week's bullish candle here was quite nice. So for me, that would typically be an indication that we can start looking to trade this long on daily impulse starting this week. Now, we haven't yet had a breakdown in this bearish cyclicity on the daily time frame. It's certainly weak bearish cyclicity with that close last week Thursday inside the previous phase two. So I wouldn't be terribly surprised if we do get a breakdown of cyclicity here. I'm waiting for that, uh, or at least just for another cycle, because we always like to try and jump into our trades as soon after a swing as possible. So I'm just waiting for a retracement and then a resumption of any potential bullish trend here on the daily time frame in terms of the final criteria for a daily impulse. So weekly criteria met, happy with that. It's really just that final criterion on daily that I'm looking for. You can see, however, that we have been trading this range as well. Okay, so that's that one. Let's move on to GBP USD. This one we did get a breakout on daily last week, as you can see. And because likewise on weekly, we're still in a technical bullish trend and in an impulse wave or phase one wave of this trend. Weak, it is true, but technically it's still there. So we did have, therefore, an entry on this on the 19th, actually the open of the 20th last week. And well, in fact, now we can actually probably move. No, we can't. So we're not yet at break even on this using the 2 5-step rule, but very close to break even. You can see the original risk there. So I'm probably teaching you guys how to suck eggs here because you should know the strategy very well by now. So yeah, that's just that one on GBP USD. We had on the daily time frame, we did have previously, though, the failed attempt at breaking out of our preceding range. So, we had a a bearish trade there for an overlay. That one didn't actually work out. I think we got stopped out also very close to break even for a very small lose, I think 0.15%. So that one didn't work out. But in any case, you can see that's what the diagrams are all about. But I'm not going to worry too much about that. The main thing is you guys understand the principle. Okay, so moving rapidly on. Nothing much happening on the yen, as you can see on weekly. Still stuck on that support level. Very, very little happening there. Dollar Swiss, our usual sort of mirror image of the Euro USD. In this case, however, it's failed to break below the support level. So we did have an attempted breakout here. And as a result of that, we were able to look to take a bullish trade on an overlay. So here's an example of a breakdown in cyclicity. Those of you should know that this was not an impulse wave because we failed to get a lower close below that preceding low. So this should make life easier. And remember, that's an open. So that's a retracement phase two. And yeah, that's why we've looked to get into an overlay on this one. So that's just the dollar Swiss. That's on weekly, of course, as you can see there. On the daily time frame, just playing around with those overlay trades as well. There was a bearish winner on this during the course of last week. USD Cad, as you can see again here on the weekly time frame, we haven't yet had an isolated low here. Just want to double check that. This chat box is getting in my way. 3, 4. Yeah, these looked like they were. Yeah, we've had just lower lows here. So still technically in a bearish wave. And given the fact that this is still technically a bearish trend, you know, it's something that you could look for with getting into a bearish daily impulse. I think we did get into one before, but that got stopped out as a loser. On daily time frame, though, again, you can see we've had a couple of tests of this support level, and that's what that weakness is on the weekly. But you can see very clearly on daily that it's failed to break below the support level, and as a result, we've had a couple of overlays on the daily time frame. So not trending on daily is the key takeaway there. On Aussie, yeah, again, you know, as of certainly last week on this one, we were on daily, on weekly, you could see that technically this is still in a trend, but a retracement wave of the trend on the weekly time frame. So just remind myself what I did on this one. So yeah, maybe a little bit on the aggressive side, but regardless, you know, looking for a potential resumption of this trend. I think basically what I looked at on the daily is the fact that we had a double test of this support level. It failed to break through the support level over here. So it's a bit of a variation on the theme for our daily impulse. But you can see with effectively a breakdown in bearish cyclicity, I jumped into a bullish daily impulse as far as this is concerned. You can see with the 2 5-step rule, we already trailed the stop somewhat. So far, languishing, might still be in a phase 2 here, but it was a nice, decent reward to risk ratio. So, yeah, as I say, but maybe on the aggressive side in terms of our rule set, but that's okay. But in any case, you can see here, likewise, we've continued to have lower highs here, so it's not breaking through that. Strange. Okay. Right. So last major is the Kiwi. Just a more obvious version, I guess, of what we're looking at on the Aussie. So yeah, a deeper pullback effectively. So we did have that lower low, lower close bearish impulse wave, whereas on Aussie we didn't. However, it is still very much bearish cyclicity on this. Also, you can see that we did have an inside close on weekly. I think we spoke about this last week. So showing distinctive weakness here in this bullish trend. So technically it's still trending. We had an outside close on Friday, just outside of that previous phase two's price territory. So it's still trending, but it's definitely not got the same strength on weekly as the Aussie. So should this cyclicity break down, however, we may well have a resumption of that. Okay, so that's our majors and minors. Looking at our yen pairs, euro yen, very little happening here, obviously on weekly, but we did have a test a couple of weeks ago that failed of that resistance level, and that's what we're seeing here on the daily time frame. We saw, as we discussed last week, a break below the support level, but it's pulled back inside of our range over here. So yeah, I'm not interested in anything here. There's no potential impact either to go short. So nothing to concern us with over here. Going to GBP yen, however, it's continued to test this resistance level. We look to trade a bearish overlay here. That trade did not work out. So in fact, that I think stopped out this morning. But yeah, it's very much a if you look on a weekly again as well, it's still very much in our preceding range, but we do have this potential bullish cyclicity establishing itself, but we haven't yet seen a breakthrough of this resistance level. So we just got to wait and see. If we do get a breakout above the previous highs over here, then clearly we can look to trade that on the lower time frame. So yen pairs again, here we go on Swiss yen, not a hell of a lot happening. So not particularly interested there. Ranging in any event. Likewise on CAD yen, ranging, it's failed tests a couple of times. We had a nice full winner on this on Friday on the overlay. As you can see with that breakdown in cyclicity, it banged straight down into our take profit. Aussie yen, also similar picture to what we're seeing on Aussie US dollar. So we've got a bullish trend here. And of course, likewise with that, we were seeing a retracement wave. Again, if we just look at that daily setup over here, if you're being aggressive, you're looking for your impulse candle, but we don't really have an impulse wave on weekly. So that's a much more aggressive way of doing it. I wouldn't suggest you do that. Kiwi yen, again, similar picture. This one, unlike on the Euro USD, we did have a respecting of the support level. It didn't show weakness. So with that bullish candle on the close on Friday for the week, I reckon we could look for a bullish impulse entry on this one. Just looking on the final for the final selection criteria on the daily time frame. So keep an eye out for that. As always, I do like to try and get into these trades after a pullback on the entry time frame. Euro GBP, another test of support over here. You can see that we did actually have a breakout on this last week, Wednesday, I think it was, where it did close below the support level. So interested to see what happens there. But of course, you can see on Friday, it did come back and close inside of the channel again. So showing weakness. We had a, if you just go to the weekly time frame over here, you can see that on the weekly time frame, it's still respecting that support level. So it did bounce off of the bottom of our range. And that's the third time now that it's actually done that, as you can see. So let's wait and see what happens this week. Euro Swiss, not particularly interested, as always, in what's going on in this pair. We did trade or test a couple of our overlays on this. This one actually was also a winner. You can simply see once again we had a test of our resistance level. Let me just scooch that down a bit. And then another failed test. As soon as we had an indication that this resistance level was holding, we shorted the market, managed our stop aggressively, and got out for a reasonably decent win on that, I think about 0.8%. Moving on. Oh, what's happening here? Keep forgetting I'm not on a Windows machine. All right, so here we also had a significant breakdown in cyclicity last week on the Eurocad. We had a breakout, but it pulled back immediately, and we had an impulse reversal on this. So it's definitely a breakdown in sequentiality of cyclicity, no question about that. You can see on weekly that that represents a failed test of the support level in our channel. So yeah, we entered that. We would actually have reduced our open risk on this trade, on the overlay trade, on Friday before close. So we're still going to update this, but in any case, let's wait and see what happens there. Euro Aussie, again, you see this failed test, so very much an end to this bearish trend where we had our potential impulse wave failing to materialize into one. So we had that that breakdown in cyclicity, particularly on Friday. In fact, Friday's candle confirming that. So another setup for an overlay to go long on that. If you were short on any lower time frame trades, or if you'd done a daily impulse with this one on, let's see, on Thursday, to short this on Thursday, which you probably wouldn't have because we're in a phase 2 on the weekly time frame. Oh, no, I beg your pardon. That's an inside bar. Let me just double check that. Chat box getting in the way again. So one, yeah. So great. That's the high we're looking at. Yeah. So this is an inside bar. So yes, so you could potentially have done that. You could have looked to short that. So if you had done that, if you'd taken a short on a daily impulse here, of course, that wouldn't have lasted. You would have been stopped out on that. But this is where your overlay would have actually compensated for that. An overlay trade on this would have actually hit the full target. So that's reasonably decent as far as that's concerned. Double check something here. Okay, still recording. Good. Right. So moving on. Euro NZD, for some reason, this didn't copy across from the other machine. It's a bit annoying. So Euro NZD on a weekly, likewise, we still do have an intact bearish trend here. It's so far on the weekly time frame, pretty sure it's respecting, let's just double check the close, 481 below. So yeah, Friday's close on our break over here was just inside of that channel. If you want to be overly pedantic, then fair enough. Technically, however, this certainly as of Friday, we're still in a bullish phase 2 of what is a potential trend after the breakout a couple of weeks ago. So as I say, this hasn't updated the analysis on this time frame, but you can see that double bottom that we saw on the daily time frame. Had you been in any bearish impulse trades over here, this failed test over here certainly could have been used as a potential entry for going long on an overlay. So I hope this is not, it seems to be a problem across the board, unfortunately. Moving from one machine to another where the analysis hasn't updated. Those are the main ones I really wanted to talk about, to be honest. So let's just quickly double check where we at on gold. Yeah, so guys, unfortunately, my technological issues this morning are still with me. Moving my profiles from one machine to another doesn't look like they all copied across, unfortunately. But I think the main things that I wanted to discuss, I've covered now. Has anybody got a particular instrument you'd like me just to do the update, the analysis for, and we can have a look at that? Or is everyone happy? It's quite a lot of the pairs that we haven't gone through now. You guys using the chat box in Zoom? All right, so it seems like everyone's happy. That's very much mistaken. Okay, so if that's the case, then just a quick update for you guys on the funded account. So we've finalized the agreements, legal agreements for the funded account. So if you are ready to chat to us about how to get your funded account, then please do drop us a line. So just to give you a quick overview on how that's going to work. Now, first of all, I just want to put in a very important caution here. So we've we've made available these funded accounts which allow you to trade up to a $2 million account. Uh, in order to get there, however, you need to obviously complete certain criteria. In fact, you kind of got to unlock the levels until you get to the $2 million level. The first level is actually an evaluation account. That evaluation account, you get different size evaluation accounts from a $5,000 up to a $17,500 evaluation account. It's up to you what you choose. But there is a fee for the evaluation account, but only for the evaluation account, and that fee is 5% at this stage of the amount of the evaluation account. So, in other words, if you were to choose a $10,000 evaluation account, the setup fee for that would be 500. Now, I recommend that you only jump into that when you're ready and confident in your ability to generate a CalMAR of at least zero point 0.5. Now, the funding consortium really requires something a little bit more. They wanted 1-to-1. I think I can swing it if it's less than that. So if you have a 0.5-to-1 CalMAR, which is basically your average monthly return divided by your maximum drawdown. So if your average monthly return, let's say, is 5%, and your maximum drawdown is 10%, your CalMAR would be 5 divided by 10, which is 0.5. And that would be, I think we can get away with that. So should be able to swing it. When we do the next challenge, which we're going to be announcing the details on that soon, we're having a new challenge probably sooner than you might have anticipated. Hope you're happy with that. But when we announce the details for that, if we are able to give away a funded account there as well, it will require probably a 1-to-1 CalMAR, just as we did with the previous one. But for your own accounts, certainly 0.5 would be okay. If you're keen to jump into a funded account anyway, I think we can do that. We can make that happen for you regardless. But I just don't want to end up with a situation where you feel unhappy that you've spent the fee, let's say $500 on a funded account, but then you weren't ready yet. So again, it's up to you, really. It's my recommendations are for a CalMAR of 0.5. I'm pretty sure I can swing that. I'm pretty sure I can swing a lot of this with the funding guys. So chat to me in any event if that's what you are looking to do. And what else? Yeah, okay. So if you've got an evaluation account of say $10,000, you need to make 6% on that one, which would mean a $600 profit without having a $400 drawdown. If you meet that criteria, and there are a few other rules as well in terms of maximum position size and so on, which all are quite generous. If you trade the way I've taught you, you will never get anywhere near to having an issue with that. You'll stay well within inside the rules. So if you do all of that, you manage to get a 6% profit without having a 4% drawdown. You then get a portfolio manager account of initially 4 times your evaluation account. So if you started with $10,000, you have a $40,000 evaluation account. You then have to meet a 12.5% profit objective. If you keep doing that, you just double up the account until we get to $2 million. So that could be a massive string to your bow. If you would like to jump into one of those, and even if you just wanted to try it out because you want to try out trading on a bigger live money account, that's fine. If you blow it though, look, I mean, if it's a $10,000 account, you're going to lose $500. And you can go again. You know, there's no, as long as you don't break the rules too badly, you know, there's no reason why you can't apply for another evaluation account. And certainly it can help you to start trading with bigger accounts. All right, so I just wanted to give you guys an update on that. There will be more information coming to you from me in an email. In the meantime, however, if you are interested, then just drop us an email and we will have a chat and go from there. So yeah, we're always working on looking to improve these things. I personally am looking forward to the first GoPro Academy member getting up to a $2 million account. I mean, if you think about it, and the profit share is pretty generous on that. You know, for most fund managers, for instance, when I was trading other people's money privately, I charged 20 to 25% profit share, whereas you guys will be getting on the $2 million account, you'll be getting 30% profit share. And that's the lowest profit share you'll be getting. On the smaller accounts, many of them, it's actually a higher amount. So yeah, if you think about it, if you make a, let's say, 3% return in the month, that means you get about 1%. 1% on $2 million is $20,000, you know, so that's not too shabby for a monthly income. You can obviously take that and put that into your own personal trading account where you'll be free to use bigger position sizes and so on. Right, okay, so let's chat about that. As I say, if you are interested in knowing more, drop us a line. I can send you the terms and conditions, and you can decide if you want to go for it. It is open to anyone who is a standing member of the GoPro Trading Academy. All right, guys, so that's it from me. Apologies for all the technical issues once again. I will certainly, if you do have any questions, you guys who are watching the recordings and so on, if there's anything that you'd like me to cover, happy to do that. Drop a question into the comments below where the recording is posted. And if need be, I will do another session later in the week. Right, so I hope that's been useful, guys. Sorry we didn't go through all the pairs again, but as I promised, we would only be about half an hour and time is up. Chat to you guys soon. Take care. Bye for now.